know what it is.
Who are Mark Jones?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
There's Wobbs with the clapperboard. You learn something new every day, Jonesy. Episode 2. Mark's just now
Every
found
day's a
out
school day.
what a clipperboard actually does.
Sink done a knowledge going home.
Yeah,
exactly. There you go.
It's a little in-joke for us here at Torq Moto, but it's money well spent.
Telling you, I ain't wasting £8 on another one.
Damn straight. So, Jonesy, we finished episode 1. You were there. You made it to being a full factory rider, which was incredible. You know, in 2 short years of racing 250 GP, factory rider. Then the big changeover with Parmo. Yeah. And then, obviously, like training with Ryan. That's the point we got to. So, how did you feel at that point, regards to your career? You're still young. You're still like, what was you starting to think about like a genuine target?
Kid from the valleys, living in Italy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed, isn't it?
I think that's when it started to sink in. Like before, like in 99, I was getting good rides and stuff. But I was still a farm boy from Wales. It didn't really kind of sink in. I didn't take in where I was. And then, 2000, then like everything changed with meeting the Japanese, the test. Like I knew the Japanese from the year before, but going testing with them and stuff, I think it really started to sink in then, and maybe started feeling a little bit more pressure. And
you can't help but feel pressure, can you? When you see the effort everybody else is putting in.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it was just a different ball game.
Pivots on your result.
Yeah, definitely. And I think because we were all kind of based, like Fred would be there a lot in Italy. Ryan lived there, same as me.
Well, Fred wasn't a million miles away. He lived south of France, didn't he?
Yeah, south of France, yeah. So he'd come up and
do
all the testing and stuff, and we before the Grand Prix. But the year before, it was Stefan was in Belgium, I was in Wales or Belgium, in Aalst at the factory, and then Mark would be home. So I didn't really get to train or ride with those guys so much. But then it changed then for 2000, and it kind of came apparent where I was then.
But then youthful exuberance starts to wear off. You become a proper young adult, if you want to call it like that. Then you start to think things a little bit differently. And like I said, reality then bites. You kind of then, you take so many things in your stride when you're in your teens, late teens, early 20s. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, hold on a minute, this is my career now.
And then you have to start realising this is an opportunity and I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
And that puts pressure on yourself.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I think because the results from the year before and kind of where, the podium and the 4th overall and whatever else I had, I was expected to be there then.
Yeah.
Like when I had those rides the year before, it was like, oh, good ride. That's it. But then when you come into next year and you've got better equipment again, I had Fred's championship winning bike from the year before.
Nice. And when people talk about like the year before, the parts are off the scale. Like these are not second-hand worn out old bikes.
No.
They're brand new.
Yeah.
But it was the amount of stuff they had left over.
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember being in Aalst and there was a box outside. You must have been there with these.
So I was always amazed because I think they shared it with some road racing.
That's right, yeah.
I was always amazed the amount of carbon fibre that I could, when I looked in the skip out the back.
The skip.
The stuff that had to be crushed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's just that skip alone. Like there's just the amount of carbon. You know, like a skip company now, they pull you up if you're over the top, if you're not level, aren't you? You get charged extra. This thing was like a heap of carbon fibre.
Yeah, it's just stacked with tanks and frames.
So much
wing
cool
arms,
stuff.
Wheels, just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Roger told me a story. Didn't the bikes have to go to Barcelona to be crushed?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Apparently, complete bikes at the end of the year might have been after you, but they might have been in the Martin Honda times. But they had to go to Barcelona, where they'd get certification that it actually was crushed, and nobody could press the button. They put them road race bikes in there, lean them against the wall. They used to have to get the cleaner to press the button. They didn't give a shit. I'll press it. But nobody else could do it. It was just heartbreaking because when a road race bike's done, it still looks mint.
Yeah.
Like a motocross bike looks hanging.
Yeah, they get tired, don't they? But with a road
race bike, you didn't want it in your house, wouldn't you? But no.
So so you basically did start to feel more pressure at that point from you.
Possible not to, isn't it?
Internally, like you felt the responsibility more, or was it coming from above?
It wasn't. The Japanese were pretty good, and Paul Casper was real good. Never kind of pulled me aside and said, you got to do better. He was just always trying to help. He was a real good guy. he was a really good guy, but it was just pressure put on myself because I kind of thought,
What was Pamo? Scaffolding.
Scaffolding, yeah. Swiss company. Yeah. Yeah, he was a
good
one.
egg. Because everybody sees Pamo, and you have to remember that is actually a company before it was a race team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lee Toland, if you're watching, you've got to step up. Start a GP team. That's a joke, obviously. Yeah, so tell us about that year then. So how did that actually go? You know, obviously, do you find it tougher in many ways?
Nah, not really, no, because I got to test the bike then and, tie myself up in knots with 10 gear levers and
easy done.
8 sets of foot pegs. But testing was going well. I got the bike as I wanted it. I was as quick as Ryan. You know, when we were doing motos, Fred was always a little bit faster than both of us. And then we went to a track, myself and Ryan. We just went off for the day. And I cartwheeled the bike down the track. Broke a toe, like both hips, black and blue. Had it pinned. Had to go to Talavera then I had to pull the pins out before I went because they weren't going to let me ride.
I see that's the Valley.
That's
boy, stupid. Why would you pull pins out of? I've been pulling pins out of a little finger injury or something like that. But my God, there's the boss on the phone now. Look, but pulling pins out your hip.
Out of the toe.
Oh, the toe.
Yeah, it was toe. No,
I was going to say, Jesus Christ,
it's not so bad. No.
Yeah, but that's the toe injuries are.
Yeah.
They're not easy to deal with. I've never had one, my brother has, and I know that because they're a hindrance, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're just more of a hindrance.
It's just on the foot peg and then in the boot. You know, you get the clankers when you come through the corner and catch your toe and it goes right to the front of the boot. It was tender and so I was in pain going to Talavera.
I'm sure Rhino wouldn't have been telling you to quit.
No, definitely not.
Mate, I've been around him when they taped up his leg, didn't take his boot off. He's like, my leg's broke. Don't take it off.
Yeah,
when that year, Southwick,
yeah, he's a tough nut, definitely. But he took me out in the first round. Yeah, he did. Yeah, I can't remember whether it was maybe Paget did first. I was second. Gordy third, maybe. Demaria. And I was running well, and then
Shane, isn't it? He was a quick start.
He's coming to He's coming to Foxhill.
Top
is he? Yeah,
Pierre's coming to Foxhill.
I got in with him.
He's
so
a big,
good.
He's a
good mate.
He's a big internet guy now.
Yeah,
I see
website
that.
stuff in France. Yeah.
Real nice guy.
He's
I'm glad he's coming. He's seen him in a long time, so I want to catch up with him.
Character.
Yeah, he's a good laugh.
Yeah.
Well, he's working on trying to get Tortelli and Pichon to come.
Is he?
But it's certainly not done deal by a long way. Yeah.
Be decent.
Oh yeah.
Definite.
Yeah. So you were carrying that injury, and then
just two good starts and stuff, and then we were coming down the back straight, the 2 tabletops before you hook a left and then back on yourself.
Yeah.
And I was going round the outside, I think. And
because it was banked
straight down, and boosh, took me clean out.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been personal.
No, he was just desperate to get to the front. I think he. Oh, mate, actually, do you know what? It could have been the second motor because he didn't get to the Park Ferme in time.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was 2000.
Yeah. His mechanic was late getting to the line. He missed the first motor and won the second one.
Of course it was 2000 because that's when we did I had my C90. We had our C90 mopeds there. We did that.
When you had we did. I remember it.
That's when we did the video with Rhino the next day because he stayed behind and did testing the next day.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when we got the mopeds out and did that video with him, and we got all the capes on and did all that nonsense. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
So that didn't start off too good. That was the first GP. So you're basically like most things when you get those niggling injuries, playing catch up for the first part of the year.
Yeah, it was. It was difficult. And then I don't think I scored any points that weekend like that. I think I crashed on the starting one, and then Rhino took me out in the next one. Chronic arm pump. And then it was on the, I think second round was Sword possibly.
Yeah, could have been.
I went there and was riding all right and felt a little bit more relaxed because the first one was out of the way. And then just had a Monty one out the back then. And that's when the wrist problem started. So can you...
I remember, I just remember you. I just remember you having, because I was basically winding it up regards to GP career at that point.
Yeah.
So 2000 was my last year of racing GPs, and that's why I said about in episode 1 about that's when I vague memory of you just suffering a lot. I couldn't remember what year it was. So it was obviously that year.
It was that
with the wrist.
Yeah, It was it was a section down the back. I think we were going the other way.
We were. No, I know. So I can certainly remember Volkenswagen because I can remember riding past you on the deck.
Yeah. Yeah, in a heap.
And a lot of wave yellows.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Because they built up that whole back. It was real
fast out
long
the back.
straight.
Was it into
single, double, and then it was they dug a dip.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there was, from what I can remember, there was a tabletop, and then there was a single after it. And Dobby came across to me, and he said, "You should be doubling on a 250." And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you get on a 250." I said, "All right then," and I did. And then all of a sudden, then I was doing it every lap in free practice and stuff. And then the crowds were starting to come across. And then when I was in the air, I could hear him cheering, and no one else was doing it apart from. When I started doing it, you remember Serge Gadetti?
Yeah.
He started popping as well. But then in qualifying, then I came over the top, and must have been something in the rut because the bike just went like this and then flicked me and then landed on the wrist, dislocated, and broke a scaphoid.
So that's the one in it. That scaphoid.
Yeah. So
it's one of the smallest bones in your body, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's one of the most.
There's no blood going.
Only gets blood to one end of it, doesn't it?
Is it right?
And it gets blood to one end of it. So if it's broken, the blood don't get to the other end. So
I probably broke the other end. I did. Yeah, that's why it didn't heal. But yeah, and then walking back to the pits. Then had a quick chat with Ray Archer on the way back. He was like, "Oh, I'll get the view," and then Stefan came over and took me to. He phoned his doctor in Belgium, got me straight there, Dr. Klaus, maybe?
Klaus?
Yeah,
that seems to be him.
Yeah, I think it was him.
I think it's Klaus.
And they put K-wires in. The bones started dying off on top. And then Ash Kane came to the rescue.
Good old Ash.
And he sent me to a doctor in Germany, Dr. Werber. And yeah, I think it was like maybe 4 months back and forth Belgium. Oh, it's not healing, it's this, that. But they weren't giving me any solutions. Ash was like phoning around and stuff, and then got me Dr. Werber's number, got me booked in. And I think I was back on a bike in a month with K-wires taken out, screw, bone graft, good as new. But by that time then, I'd lost all the movement.
How did you feel at that point though? Was you calm with it, as in like you just thought it was just a little minor setback, or did you start to have any kind of reservations in your mind that an opportunity is slipping away?
Yeah, definitely.
You did?
Yeah, even at that age, I was like, this could be crucial in the future, which it was. It was the start of all the, kind of, not the downhill, but...
No, because you still obviously had a great career after that. What I'm saying is, you're still riding for HRC at that point.
Yeah.
You're riding for the number one team, the Honda team in Europe.
But they don't want someone who's laid up on the side, do they?
No, it doesn't help.
There's so many people fighting for that position. And
well, that's the thing, it's dog eat dog world, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
And you got to understand that the people who are your bosses have got somebody to answer to.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So everybody's got to answer to it. They've got to justify why they hired you.
Yeah, definitely.
And the big cheeses don't care.
No, they don't. And I was laid up for about, I don't know, maybe 5 months. Couldn't, dying off. And then Ash sorted me, the guy in Germany, back on a bike in a month, but in pain, not much movement. Had a couple of good results before the end. A couple of top tens.
But sort of too late.
Yeah. Like I was on for the next year, but then obviously the Palmo thing went south.
So you still had a contract in front of you.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you sign
go for the
1 year at a time, or was it a
1 year at a time?
deal?
But they,
fair play.
Yeah.
Well, that's good
So
that
it
they
was
stick
good
with
to go
you.
again.
Yeah, willing to stick with you, even though the
it's
team
good to go again.
What happened to the Palmer thing? Just got bored of spending the money?
Yeah, I think the higher the bikes was heavy money.
Yeah. You're leasing the bikes, weren't they?
Yeah. So, and he was like, right, I'm not going to pay. And then Martin Honda came in. But we had a load of factory bikes go missing from the workshop.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard about that one.
Yeah.
Went to a gypsy site in Italy.
Really?
And no, would go and get them. I think...
I wonder if they obviously knew what they had. I'd love to think they knew what they had.
Well,
It would be more of a criminal story if they didn't know what they had.
Well, we were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So how they...
Yeah.
Obviously, word of mouth or something.
Yeah, I went to the workshops. I went down there with Ryan.
Did you? Yeah.
It's nice.
It was a nice place there.
Big glass doors. We came
Yeah, that's it.
The bikes went missing. So if he's leasing them, they went missing.
No, I think it was the year after they had to start leasing.
Right.
It was 2000. It was still
That's
gifted
feel.
them by.
You don't want to wake up anybody when you have anything stolen. It's heartbreaking,
especially
isn't it?
those.
But something like that.
And they obviously were brand new then when they started. It was like February when we were testing, I think. Yeah,
that must be a huge
two of
step back for the
Ryan's
team
and-
as well. Like, you know,
I
regards.
think so. I think we had enough stuff though.
Yeah.
It was like,
Still a lot of work gone, isn't it? It's a lot of
yeah,
work.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
obviously we tested and everything, so the bikes were good to go. You know,
And
but,
quite often, the bits you're using, you won't have that much of it at that point.
no, that's
You
it.
know, if you're choosing foot peg number 4,
Yeah,
you'll only run a couple of 3 sets of those.
yeah, exactly.
And if a couple are gone,
Yep,
you're waiting for the new stuff to come
definitely.
because you've got plenty of the shit you're not using.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
So it can be testing.
Testing, indeed.
yeah, testing.
So what happened at the end of that year then? So they went, you know, you were given a contract, obviously, but they disappeared. So then
Yeah, went to Martin Honda, and
So
then Ash came.
where
Again.
are you at that point?
Well, yeah, it was just
Like,
in limbo.
in-
Didn't have a
up
ride.
here as well, like-
devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah, devastated because I could just see, I wasn't riding as well. Struggling with movement in the wrist.
In my mid-20s at this point.
I was 20.
3?
20.
Oh.
21 maybe.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
That's the thing, because you
Child.
came into 250s quite early.
Yeah.
Many
We didn't know
don't.
125s. It's
No,
strange.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
So Ash, 'cause obviously Ash is well connected. You know, we got a fair few in the British industry like that, haven't we?
Yeah.
People that know people. You know, that sounds like
Yeah.
they're proper shifty. I don't
As
mean
a
like
rule.
that.
Well, most
Ash,
are.
Craig. You know,
Yeah.
what I mean is,
Yeah,
they're
there's a
connected.
network.
There's a
There's a
network
network.
that you rely on. You fall back on.
Yeah. So he
they like you.
he phoned Colin Reid
Yeah.
and got me a deal on there. Got me on the shift kit
Yeah.
because he was working for Fox
Yeah.
then. So I rode for Colin for 2 years.
But that was back to 500, if I remember rightly.
No.
Oh, you did it.
Yoki was on the aluminium
You
frame
did do a year in
500.
250.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I rode.
That'd have been like 99.
No, that would have
that was
been
2001.
2001.
Oh.
Yeah. So and that went all right. There had some good results. Still struggling with the wrist a little bit. Still had my factory motor in one of those, but we
Did
were
you?
using Olin's at the time.
Yeah.
So, but Colin was good to ride for, and
Colin did
we
put a
looked
lot
at-
into it, didn't he?
hell of a lot.
I don't think
and
nowadays
he was
people, like, we always give him tickets to
regimental.
Foxhill and he comes along and he loves it.
Does he?
Because nobody ever remembers who he is. Or,
Yeah.
And we send him
Seen
free
him
tickets.
for
We send him tickets
a
every
long
year
time. Yeah.
just because he put a lot into it.
Yeah.
He deserves a free ticket.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
definitely. He was awful. And Farleigh's wife. And
Yeah,
they were good as
absolutely. I mean, they were the top British team
Paid his
at the
dues.
time.
That boy's paid
I think-
more than his dues.
And then
Yeah.
Harry Ainsworth and kind of Cass then
Yeah.
sort of
Came
took
with
the
it.
mantle on from them a little
Yeah.
bit around that time. It was like
Yeah.
a bit of a crossover kind of period, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then obviously MJ, Mike Church and Lisa
Yeah.
Church team. We had some big old British Grand
Yeah,
Prix
you
teams at
did.
the time.
Yeah. Big
But you rode
setups.
for Dixon, didn't you?
Yeah, rode for Dixon in 03.
So you did 2
Yeah,
years of
3.
with 3 years of RWJ?
2 years.
Two,
Yeah,
yeah.
I rode the 450 in 2002 in the Grand Prix. But I just hated the bike.
Yeah.
Just not fast on it.
I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah. But, yeah.
I do remember you saying
In
that.
a little
yeah.
bar in
Yeah,
Spain.
yeah. I mean, when
You remember that,
I do
mate?
remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Of course I do. We'll leave it at just obviously because
You can't leave you
Well,
can't
no,
just keep having these
No.
in jokes and just like look at each other.
Joke,
Going, that
I
was
mean,
funny.
I don't know what else was said that night, but obviously, beers were flowing and whatever. I mean, you didn't quite word it like that. He didn't. He didn't quite. I don't like the bike. There was a bit more animation to the
sure.
conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember you saying like, it's just not for me. I remember you saying like, I'm a two-stroke bloke.
But that's the way it was going. If you didn't,
Especially after you're coming
Yeah,
off
it was,
factory,
yeah.
a factory Honda 252 stroke.
which were good.
Yeah.
The joy of riding that and sort of taming it almost because the 450s it's not. I think it really sort of suited your style either.
No, it didn't. I had some massive crashes on that thing. Some massive crashes. But I remember I was in Beauvesan. Do you ever ride there?
I don't remember. I did.
French track, and we were down there, and I remember going into it was out of a fast corner and then into a small tabletop, but it dropped on a massive bank. And Ian Brown was my mechanic, Elliot Soman at the time, he was my mechanic. And it cut out on the takeoff. I went in and compressed like 250 style,
Yeah.
and it just went
Oh,
and threw me that way out. And obviously we're dropping away, and all I did was scratched my kneecaps, and the bike was totaled. And
He
he was at the side of the bike like this. What have you done? I don't know what
He
they
was just-
managed to salvage, but he was mangled.
Just sliding down the hill on your
Awesome.
knees.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
a skater.
Yeah,
Just, you know,
and I'm on the deck, and he stood at the side of the bike going, but yeah, yeah. But I wasn't a fan of that bike. I had some big ones on that thing. But and then went to Dixon the year after. Because
you're still chasing the GP
Yeah,
dream
still
at that
doing
point. 'Cause
it,
that's
yeah.
the point, right? That you came in and within, like I said, your second year, you finished 12th in the world. So then you obviously know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And you want to get back to that.
Yeah, you're always
So
chasing, it was-
how was that, like chasing that? Did you ever at one point start to get frustrated?
Oh, yeah, just frustrated every
Because you know you are capable of being that high up.
Oh, it was
The injury and
mind fuck every weekend. It was like,
the sport was
but-
changing. Like the
Yeah.
4-stroke thing was happening.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was more 4 strokes coming in.
Yeah, whether you liked it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
that's it.
Yeah, like 03 was the switch.
You
Wasn't
didn't
it?
like
When
whether
they
you liked it or
combined,
not, which
yeah.
you didn't.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But you're
But
still trying to etch a career on potentially like 4 strokes weren't really your thing, and
then
kind of
first
caught
4
between a
strokes.
rock and a
The
half.
first
place.
carburetor 4 strokes were. I mean, they're still horrible, but they were really
Yeah.
horrible, weren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a difficult one, and then just went with Dixon then, and he got a Rinaldi kit for that. Wasn't a great fan of that either, to be honest. But
What was that, a 4-stroke?
no,
because you and
250
Higgs are on a 2-stroke.
Because Ash again.
Yeah.
Like I was on the Fox stuff with him, and he's like, right, got to go back 2-stroke. He said, you're a 2-stroke man, so went back. Didn't really find the form.
No.
Billy Higgsy on the team.
What a trio! And I'm not just saying of rider talent. And I mean we got to be careful, like anything. But you three,
I can't imagine you three on the same team.
it's just it's
all
an
travelling
amazing.
together.
That's what I mean, right? And then you've got Dixon at the helm, and
In charge.
yeah, like it's just an amazing
Sounds like
combination.
the perfect storm.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
Because I remember coming back from Spain.
Because I could see you three,
Yeah.
as much as Steve now running GPs, and he knows what he wants, but I could see you three with just railroading him, completely railroading him.
Yeah.
Like whatever, and like taking the piss. You three together were just lethal.
But he never fired up. He was never like, he never got a go. When I got back from Spain, and he was, I think he pulled us in the office, and he said, fuck me. He said, I heard this, like, it was like a Club 1830 out there. So, God. And it was.
Look, let's
quite
put them into
wild.
perspective. Higgsy at that point had already been in a boy. I think he
Boy band, he
started
was,
a boy band, legitimate boy band. They
never knew that.
Yeah, they recorded. Didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
The
He was on his
artwork,
way, yeah.
album cover.
Yeah.
They recorded an album, the whole
to go.
9 yards.
Never knew that.
So he's the eldest. Then you got you, and then and then Billy, who at
Billy.
that point is still off. Let's be honest. He came into the sport in a whirlwind, didn't he? And then that whole thing, battling Swordy, which he spoke about in his podcast. He played the part.
Played the villain.
He didn't mind playing
the
that
villain,
guy.
didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you three, just all the time. I can see you just whatever he did. It's almost like
Trying to outdo
whatever
each
sort
other.
of foolery. I'm going to use that word lightly. I'm outstripping him. I'll do that. I'll do something better tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it was what there was a lad who was. I think his dad was helping the team, and a lad came out. Was it Jackson?
Jackson Evans.
That's it.
Yeah.
And his 65 was there, right?
Yeah.
And we had a quiet one that night. We didn't kind of do anything wild. And anyway, I took the 65. I think he might have been in one of they were like a static caravans. And only Mikey Whitewick went in there and stayed in because he didn't want to be with us on his own in there. So I took this 65, went up to the end of the caravan park, and there was street lights with a big white bowl on top. So I managed to shimmy the pipe, push this plastic thing off, strip naked, put this bowl on my head, and come howling through the caravan park on the 65, naked, bowl on top. Couldn't really see. You could vaguely see. A bit stupid to think about it now. So I
stupid,
was laughing
really.
about.
Yeah.
And then took the bowl off, went in, opened the door on Mikey, rode the bike in and did a burnout in the kitchen, and he was all lying on the floor.
Oh.
So yeah, that's
just
kind of where
that's
the
a tame
18
thing. I said there's I can just imagine. I can't remember where you were, but I actually was there on that trip with you for
Yeah,
one or 2 days. Can't remember what track we went to. I can picture it, but I can't remember it. And it was just, I remember being a bit older, and you know, I like to laugh, as you know, through the GP days, and it was just entertaining. It was like being at a zoo almost. I just sat in a deck chair in the sun, watched them do their motos, and just sat back and watched like the camaraderie between the three of you. Yeah. And there was always stuff going on. Like you didn't know. You'd get off your bike, and I saw like Higgsy go and tamper with it, turn the fuel, you know, do whatever mess you.
Oh, I was always, and then you just try and outdo each other.
Anything just to outstrip the other all the time. That must have been like, whether the results came or not, it must have been an amazing, couple of years you were with Dixon?
I think Billy was 1 year.
One.
And then, I went to
That's
KTM.
probably because went, do you know what?
Yeah, it was
not
1 year
sustainable.
because it
1
was,
year enough.
Billy, just a different league.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
He doesn't
And
hide
just-
behind it. He's still
No,
come on the
but
podcast, and he's like,
Yeah, and I was
He is
trying
who
to
he
be
is.
like straight, and he was like, "Nah, man, just," and that was it. Yeah,
but he is out there, isn't he? I mean, you like a laugh. I know that. I've known that from the minute we met. But yeah, but Billy's just like he's just a little bit wired differently, isn't he? He's like, you know,
he's on it.
even like this year
different
doing
way,
the
I
arena
think,
cross with, you know, working the arena cross with me and whatever, you know, he's like, he just works to the beat of his own drum. There's he doesn't. That's how it is, isn't it?
He's just.
That's why I often wonder the
I
dynamic
mean, it
between him
is
and
proper,
Steve.
no fucks given. That's the best way I can describe Billy in 3 words.
Yeah, definitely.
He didn't give a shit.
But I think that's a lot from his old man. His old like
Oh, Big Bill.
Big Bill, good guy, but
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah,
handful. Yeah.
Well, he used to work the doors in
Yeah,
Glasgow for
that's-
fun, didn't he?
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
That's much like Stuart Quill. Stuart Quill used to work the bar in Bilf just so you could hit people and not get arrested.
He was a cool guy.
There's another one, you know.
Oh,
I mean, I'd really like to hear Stuart's stories because I never really,
I've still got his
knew him.
camel. I went to watch the Grand Prix in Farleigh once, and I've still got his camel.
Have you?
Yeah. I don't know. What
So
number it would have
did you
been.
know him a bit prior to that because of the
No,
Welsh?
I
Because he's
didn't.
North
No.
Wales, isn't he?
No, he's mid.
Oh,
He's more mid Wales. Yeah,
He's doing a lot with tarmac, I think.
Yeah.
Laying
he is doing a
tarmac and
lot
stuff,
with Paul from Par Homes.
Paul Rowland.
Paul builds the
Good guy.
estates, and I think Stuart puts the roads in.
Right.
I believe.
So that year with Dixon, then, as much as like, did that get you back on track? Did that put the fun back into it?
Well,
No.
yeah, the fun, yeah.
I
But
know
the results
you know what I mean,
weren't
'cause
coming. It
the
was,
results weren't coming, but
yeah,
you
it was struggling.
Struggling.
Oh, yeah. It was. I was just struggling with the ride and stuff, and yeah, I was still doing the work, still training
Yeah.
and stuff, and doing the motos, but just
What year would
things
this have
weren't
been?
clicking.
When was this? Like
03.
03,
Yeah, and then just didn't get. And then the next year, then no ride, and then Mark Bishop. Do you remember?
You didn't take a year out, did you?
No.
So
that
you
was
had
03
no
with Dixon.
ride, and then you got that,
no ride,
yeah.
and then Mark Bishop came to me and Kevin Burke.
Yeah.
With KTM and
Kevin, remember Kevin?
Do you remember
Yeah.
Kevin Burke? Yeah.
Christ, I saw him at a British GP not long ago. He came up to me and I took a little moment to reckon. I'm like, God,
Yeah,
yeah.
So he was on KTM for 2 years then with Mark Bishop.
Yeah.
That was good. Problems with the bikes and stuff, but,
but you
started to get
They weren't that good back
better.
then. They weren't the best.
gearbox and
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but you stuck in some good rides in the, if not GPs, that you were starting to get back to your form in the British stuff. I remember.
Yeah, it was getting back top fives and stuff, and scoring points in Grand Prix when I could kind of get in them.
Yeah.
It's a funding then as well. We were paying for it for ourselves.
That ain't that much fun then, is it?
Definitely not. I think that was qualifying money had gone then.
Yeah.
And
You're doing it all for nothing, really.
yeah,
Because
if you had 2 good rides, a pat in the back, it's not worth it. You're better off staying home and doing,
Yeah.
and then picking up a bit
it's
of
like,
money. And
that's what you do for a job. It's
Yeah,
your job. You
that's
can't
it.
go to a job where they ain't going to pay you. What's
No,
the point in that?
definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
So
no, you was in that kind of position where you were so in deep with Grand Prix you had to continue it. Whereas the likes of Eastie, that's the time he came to you and was like, I'm out. If they're not getting prize money, I'm off to America.
yeah. And he was right for doing so, definitely.
100%.
To ride
that
it
been
nuts
04
off.
that
and
Eastie
then-
came to
I
the
think
States
it's 05,
with me?
wasn't it? He came to the States for you. Could have been 04. We had the first GP on the
04,
white.
05.
4.
They all merge into one, don't they?
They do.
We're talking 20 years ago now.
Oh,
I don't
no,
remember, you know what I mean?
Like I said, that's the beauty of people leaving comments.
Yeah.
They can correct us.
Yeah,
Because we can't remember.
Because we like reading the comments of people putting us right because we can't remember. So if we got this
then-
all wrong, comment below.
So then you were done. So
yeah.
now what? Then
no
where
more
did-
GPs.
Then what you do?
No more chasing. I did. What was I doing then? British Championship, and then Ken Win Stanley Series, which is good money.
Yeah.
So, I'm British 4-stroke, I think, as
Yeah,
well,
that-
to keep.
yeah.
Yeah. So
'Cause that came
they
back
wanted me
quite
to do
strong, didn't it?
that,
'Cause-
and Brad was in there, and so. But yeah, it was. Yeah, not so much traveling and making more money than what I would have done if I was in Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was it then.
What about your
2 years on
mindset at that
KTM.
point? Was you at that point? Are you still thinking motocross race, or are you looking beyond that, starting to think, hold on? Did you see the end in sight, or no?
Not really at that point. I was still trying to get back to the kind of Grand Prix thing. Like we were dropping some in now and again, but then
But
it
you're
was
still
just the money
young
and
enough.
stuff.
You're
It
only
was-
22, 23. It's not like you were...
exactly. Yeah. So still trying to get chasing that as well. But yeah, just doing the KWS, British 4-stroke, British Championship, but dropping in Grand Prix when we could. Yeah, so getting better. 04 was all right, and then 05 was better, getting much better results. Couple of thirds in the British Championship in motos.
Still on KTM at that point.
KTM, yeah. Bike was better in 05 than 04 because the gearbox was going, and my mechanic, Steve Bushy, was stripping it every other week and putting a fourth gear in and valves dropping. But
Remember Deruva was talking about that, wasn't he? 'Cause he would get through some of them motors.
unbelievable. And the valves would drop. Yeah. Gearbox dropping out. I had a big one in Isle White coming out of, can you remember you?
Remember it well.
It was a big double and it just dropped out the gear on the takeoff. Can't remember what happened. Speaking of Ed Bradley in the truck then, in the ambulance truck, because he'd crashed. And I couldn't even remember where the double was. I chatted to him. He said, you didn't know where the hell you were. So it dislocated my collarbone. And
Never.
so, yeah. But we had a practice day out there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we invited you lot over. So the backstory, obviously, Johnny Hamilton and I designed the circuit. Obviously, Johnny built it, but we spent a couple of months over there designing and building it. And then, we invited you lot over. Because the year before, I was riding for Steve on the
That's
250.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you were
towards
going well,
because we did the first one.
Yeah.
We built the track in 2003 because we had a British there.
That's right. Yeah.
So because I was still riding for Steve, kind of partly, that's when we invited you lot over to test it because we tried to design it that you could run it both ways. You could quickly turn it around by facing the jumps up the other way.
Yeah.
So as we were building it, we had
enjoyed
that.
it,
Yeah.
But I remember there was, like, on the top, there was two massive
tabletops on the original.
And when I landed,
and then it
off
went
the
to a little
second one-
switchback, and
yeah,
then it
that's
went, and then you had that real nice hip jump that was a corner jump down the hill.
Now you're asking.
Yeah, but the two big tabletops at the top.
Yeah. But I landed off the second one and the valve shit itself.
Oh.
I was just thinking, geez, if I'd have gone on a takeoff. Because the first one was big, and then the second was
Johnny made them, so we said, wouldn't it be cool to actually they get progressively bigger, not the other way. So you're like, you don't want now I'm going to ride. Yeah, and that's it. There's actually 3 jumps along the top, with the last one being the biggest.
Yeah, I remember. And he was on the land in the last one, and he just went, kaput.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I'd have gone on a takeoff. I know you shouldn't think like that.
No, but you
it's
can't help it,
always
can
in the
you?
back
But that's
of
when
your
it gets into your head, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And then I started having doubts of the bike and stuff, and then I was looking to change then. And then Paul Rowlands came to me then.
Okay.
Yeah, top bloke.
He won a proper program, didn't he?
So good. Yeah, so good. If you needed, different pipes or tires, he was just on it with it.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah, over and above.
Yeah.
He was good as gold.
So what can you remember? What was your best British Championship over end of year finish at that point? Because you were starting to come on strong again towards around that time.
I don't know, fourth maybe.
Yeah.
I think fourth.
Because your focus, I know you still want to get to GPs, and you're still doing a handful of them.
Yeah,
but obviously more emphasis, maybe a bit more on the British at that point.
Yeah, it was more on the British. I was doing British 4-stroke with Paul as well. But he was taking me, I think I did about 5 Grand Prix that year. And I had, a load of top 15s. Yeah. A good guy helped me with goggles that year as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know who that would have been. There weren't really many good people in the goggle industry around that
He's
time.
good as gold with me, fair play.
Yeah.
I'm an accent. Yeah, fair play. Yeah, good as gold.
That's the old network for you.
Yeah,
exactly.
It goes a long
yeah.
way, kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I had some good results there, some top 15s, and yeah.
So we ask everybody this question that comes in because this is how we kind of do it. We speak about riders' careers and whatever. There's a starting point, and there's a point where it's, you know, you have to start thinking, or maybe it just literally wake up one morning and it's over in your head. When did those thoughts, or when did that thought start to come?
It was kind of 08 when my son Jake was born. Just completely changed the head.
Yeah,
it does. Just, you know, I didn't want to be out of the house so much. You know, I was still training and riding and that, but weekends away.
Your priorities shift, don't they?
Totally.
Shift.
Yeah. And I thought, I'm not going to be here much longer.
yeah, and obviously looking what the risk against reward as well.
Yeah, of
All the
course.
effort that
Yeah,
you put
yeah,
into-
definitely.
you know.
Yeah. Still, you know, earning money, you know, doing was it KWS then?
Yeah, I think they were still
Still?
running then.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, I think they
Because
were.
I was doubling up in 08 as well.
So he's got to be 16, 17 now, same age
He's
as my Tilly.
he's 18 now.
Is he? Does he ride?
No, he's had a couple of bikes, a couple of big crashes, and then he said,
Put him
"Not
off."
for me." Yeah, my daughter rode. She burnt her leg on the exhaust. Said, "I don't want to do it anymore." I'm not going to push him into it.
No.
Just got to do what they want to do, innit?
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, I bet you gutted that they don't." No, not really. No. If they don't enjoy it, what's the point?
In many ways, probably not.
People said to me when I
I-
had girls, they're like, oh, I bet you wish you had boys. What, so I can go schoolboy scrambling? You fucking on drugs, man.
Imagine being locked up in that.
Last thing I want to do is stand in a field with all them people.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's pressure for the kids, isn't it?
Ah.
Yeah.
well, and for you,
Yeah.
find the resources to go and do it.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah,
once
another thing.
once you build a bit of a name, there's an expectancy on
Oh,
the
of
kids.
course
That
there
ain't
is,
fair on
yeah.
them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So no, I'm happy they don't ride. They're doing what they do, you know, what they enjoy doing. So
Yeah.
that's the
You
main
can
thing
play
for me.
tennis or golf because you might make a few quid at that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
So what happened after that? I mean, you
06 was good with
'cause-
Paul.
yeah, okay,
07 then got a Grand Prix ride with Roger McGee.
right.
Went to Genk, I think, maybe. No, not Genk. Oh, I can't remember what the track was now. Season opener, and I came over the tabletop, kicked sideways, did my cruciate ligaments, and then that kind of wiped that year out then. Came back.
It's
for
like a bit of a
couple-
reoccurring theme here for this Grand Prix, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, didn't have the best of starts for Grand Prix. Well, wait, then back with Mark Bishop on the Kawasaki. Had a really good year. Had a few podiums and stuff in the British. Went to a Grand Prix, pulled my cartilage.
Oh, they're brutal. Grand Prix are brutal.
I think it's Mallory Park, maybe.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
08?
it was around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been then.
Yeah.
Because they had
And,
that. Yeah, they had that big old jump there, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
That was
big.
not
Did
very
Greg
well
Jansen go down on that?
Yeah, Saudi.
Monty
Yeah, I
one,
remember
didn't
Saudi had. Yeah, there was quite a few people taking it on, but it just wasn't built right.
It was big.
Yeah,
I remember coming in.
I think they changed it in the end, didn't they? They eventually kind of
Yeah.
realised after practice or qualifying that it wasn't quite right, and
Yeah, teamed it off a bit. Mega
Yeah.
plus on the track. Yeah, so that was 08 British Championship with Mark again. And then 09 signed for Roy.
there's another one. God, you've had some
Yeah,
classic team managers.
yeah.
Granty and Roy,
Embo.
Granty and Roy in your career, and Dixon.
Yeah. It was
At least,
always
with,
Roy.
at least with Embo, you know where
So,
they stand, don't you?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah,
You were told, definitely. Definitely. But
But he put a lot in. He was all in.
Yeah. Good as gold.
so you would have
Good
loved it.
setup and-
He likes a laugh as well, but
Yeah, loved the
but I can
banter and
imagine
stuff
if you was up to the antics you were when you were with Dixon and those three together
Oh,
with
Dixon.
Roy,
No, Roy
he'd have got it. He'd
not.
probably driven down there and probably dunked your head down the toilet. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm worse, I'm sure. There's no messing about with Roy.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's the boss, wasn't he?
Yeah. But things were going right to start with. Oh no, they weren't. No, went to Canada Heights, landed on someone, crashed on the start, landed on someone, dislocated my shoulder, and then came back. Where was I? Ling, and then tore the ligament to my knee again, and that was it.
So let's say, yeah, at that point you're
And
just
I bought the pub with my
Well,
ex at
we
that
could-
point.
Charlie even said that we can't finish any of these. We've got to
Yeah.
get him to talk about the pub.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great story. I love that sports stars, and you were one that ends up owning a pub because you know, come on, that I mean, that must have been an interesting old time, particularly coming off the back of a career like when you probably just think, well, I'm ready to let it all go now.
Yeah, and I did.
People do though, don't they? I mean,
Yeah, they do.
You know, like real talk, like we've seen it like with Carmichael, with Stewart, and all those guys. You know, they're athletes, and all of a sudden they finish their career, and then you see it's clear they're enjoying life.
Yeah, you can't keep it up, can you? You can't keep up.
I put on like 3 stone, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16.5 stone.
Alcohol does that.
Yeah, definitely. And eating what I wanted, and playing.
I bet the profit margins weren't as good as they could have.
Oh, no, definitely.
One for you, but I'll have one.
I'll have one. Yeah, definitely. But,
interesting times, though.
Yeah, and took up darts as well. Got quite into that. So I was playing Sunday, Thursday, Friday, obviously drinking with that. And
I never visited the pub. So did you have it? Did you have like memorabilia up in there? Was it?
No.
So you didn't. There was no connection to motocross in it.
Where was the pub?
It was in Bridgend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've never like round the house.
Yeah,
wouldn't even say that I rode a bike. No trophies or anything about it.
It's weird, isn't it? I'm the same. I took all my youth.
Me too.
I took all my schoolboy trophies to the tip. I kept 10.
Yeah.
I took them to the local tip in two runs. When I came back for the second run, one of the kids that were working there, a young kid, was out there hooking them all out.
Yeah.
And he didn't know that I chucked them in. And one old dear was saying, and he goes, yeah, employee of the month I am to this here. And all this. And I was, And then when he saw me open the boot and he saw the next, like he come sculling over, and I was like, oh, I'll leave you to chuck him in there then, mate. No, don't chuck him in. Put him to one side. I'll go for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, so it's funny, isn't it? I don't have much memorabilia. Like Wob, just got it all surround us.
Fair play.
It's not in the house though.
No.
There's nothing in the house, good. Nothing in the house.
Just to get away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was a good time, you know. I'm assuming, you know, just like
it was really good
to do something because you've been chasing it for that long.
Yeah,
like you do. It does take over your life.
Oh, of course it does. Consumes you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and always chasing, and then just did the knee. And I thought, right, that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
and then that was the end of that. So we bought the pub in 08 and then started running it. So that took up a lot of time.
I can't believe I never got there. The amount of times I said to you, I'm coming up.
Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time I said that to you, I think, was when you said, because I do remember this, you called me at 3:47 one morning from your pub.
I was awake early, got up early.
Early start.
And I'm like, what? Surely whatever. And I remember picking up and like, you were obviously 3 sheets still. And he's like, you coming on up? I went, I'm 3.5 hours away. It's 3:47. You even open? Yeah, we're open. We're having a little bit of an after hours session. You coming up?
Oh dear.
Oh, I've seen the sun come up in that pub a few times. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Good. Yeah.
This brings us to what you're doing now. What's going on?
I'm just doing the coaching thing now. Mostly local, down my end, West Wales, Mid Wales.
Same kids? You got like a little group of kids?
Yeah, group of regulars that come with me every week. And
in fact, we're holding them up now. Actually,
I know you got to get going.
No.
Yeah, I head back to mine, but just keeping busy with that, and just enjoying it and putting in a bit and concentrating on technique and then bringing the speed and just really enjoying what I'm doing. And
good.
Still keep my hand in, but not
do you ride though?
Nah, I can't with a hip.
Can't.
Nah, I've got to have another new hip. So I did have a 250 off dirt wheels and slick designs from Newport. They gave me a bike. They gave me a 125 GYTR job first.
Nice.
A little bit fat for that at the time I was. And then they gave me a 252 stroke and I jumped on it and all of a sudden I was riding 5 days in a row, just loving it. Yeah. But then I had a bit of pain in the groin. I thought, I pulled my groin yesterday.
Yeah. Oh. That's all right. That's Steve Dixon on the phone. He wants to resign.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, he's hearing the stories that you've been riding 5 days a week.
I felt the pain in the groin and I thought, I know what that pain is. I went for an MRI and sure enough, need a new hip. So I'm all right walking about and stuff. It's, twinges, but just putting your socks on and getting out of bed.
Because I felt when I came to visit you up the bowl, didn't I?
That's right. Yeah.
I thought you were riding then. Maybe you're just riding to get up so you didn't have to walk up the hill.
Probably, That would have been.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's good that you're kind of obviously doing the coaching. But it's nice, I guess, for you to keep it regional because
Yeah,
I mean, a lot
definite.
of coaches now, they have to commit. People want them to travel here, travel there, and do all these coaches schools all over the
Definitely.
place.
Yeah.
So you think
you
it's
don't.
healthy? I mean, the sport at the moment, you got some kids. I mean, you are at that level now. Do you think the sport's as healthy now as it was when you were coming up?
No. What? Like with
It's like
the boy side of things?
the standard of riders, the amount of guys into it.
I think, well, personally, I think it's too many championships.
I think
Kids are being drawn all over the place.
There used to
best
be
guys.
you were the BSMA champion, or you were the
That's
and there
it,
was the
yeah.
champion of champions, and it was
But it was on alternate weekends. You could do both, so all the boys were still together, and girls obviously.
Yeah.
But I think it's just pulled from pillar to post, and
nobody knows. Nobody's a real British champion.
No, that's it. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just too many championships. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, don't they?
Fair enough.
And even fair enough. Yeah, but I think it needs to be a cut-off point and like work together better.
Well, it's the same with the adults now. There's so many championships. Let's hope that
definitely.
with Paul doing the British, that would be back to where it used to be, the premier.
Yeah.
Used to be a big deal to be a British champion.
Of course, yeah.
But top 40, the top 5 go up, the bottom 5 go down to support champion. I mean, that was
definite.
big times, and that produced us lots of good Grand Prix riders.
Would you agree then, like you said, it kind of dilutes it, but also from a talent perspective? So then, like, would you think then kids and parents that sort of then get this kind of notion that their kid is actually better than what they are because they've won this championship,
Won the South
but if that
Glamorgan
championship's slightly devalued, and then making that step up to then say, okay, well, let's take this seriously and try to be a pro. That's when it hits them more, like regards of rabbit in headlights, because they then go up to that level where they haven't had that competition.
And that's where
from a younger age, and then they get disillusioned, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do.
at
I've
that
seen
age.
so many good riders come through the schoolboys and then go to the British Championship, get smoked, and they're like,
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah,
particularly as I said before, when all their mates are out having a good time.
But if there's on the old system, there'd be 5 or 6 good guys every year. But if them 5 or 6 good guys are all riding in different areas and different championships, you don't get dragged on.
No,
you don't go and get beat by somebody. You're not pushing each other.
No, that's it. Yeah.
It used to be, in the late 80s, like Mark Banks would win the champion of championships. That was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, I just don't see it now. And you get all these, the Cherbis and all those.
They're everywhere.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah. And there's so many championships, and
That's what
they
I mean,
need
you
to
can
get
pick and choose,
all the top riders together. They
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Yeah, and riding week in, week out.
They
And
drag,
I think
they drag
it'll
each other
produce.
on. They do produce world championship level guys. I mean, I don't think it's just a British problem. I think it's a you go to the Grand Prix. It's not like full of French kids or full of Italian kids.
No, that's.
I think
that's
everyone's
EMX is pretty healthy though.
Yeah.
The EMX championships, both the 125 and the 250, that's all right. But it's again like them making that step to GPs, like with knowing what you know now, and if you was in that position now, it's hard to say, I guess, but would you pursue that dream knowing that actually you don't even know in qualifying, you don't even get paid for your results?
It's not. It's not worth it, is it?
That's what I mean.
Obviously, if you come in and make an impact and then you get a factory ride.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. A lot of people say, you need to be able to pay to go to ride. No, you don't. What you do is you've got to pay yourself to get there, get noticed.
And then,
because every team is looking for the next thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's their job is to find the next thing. You go and put a result in at a Grand Prix.
And they're like, ooh.
Oh, trust me. You're going to have a deal. You're going to have a deal. And it's like people saying, it's just rich kids. No, you don't have enough money to get there.
Yeah.
If you can show off, they're not going to see you at practice tracks. They're not going to see you at British Championship. They're going to see you at Grand Prix. If you can go and get a ride, they are looking. They've got the scouts. Trust me, everybody's looking.
And if you can
I used to travel with Roger Harvey to the races.
Yeah.
And all we would talk about on the way home is different riders.
I think the opportunity is still there, but the path to get there, you've got less time to do it now. Because obviously before you could try and qualify if you then got into the race, and all that.
Yeah,
whereas now you've got, like you say, you've got to go there, you've got to go through the EMX scene and whatever, and you've got to be exceptional to
I
get
do
noticed.
but I do believe there is
there.
opportunities.
Yeah.
I do believe there's opportunities. I think the teams are looking for talent.
Yeah.
You can't have all 3 paid guys because the team's not going to
No, of
survive.
course not. But if you had that stepping stone and then nurtured
Exactly.
and then again, I think it would make a big
So,
difference.
Looking back on your career, I mean, you see, some people don't have regrets, some genuinely don't. They go, "No, I'm happy with that." Any niggling things that get under your skin of thinking about it, like America, for example? Would you like to have gone?
Yeah, would I like to have gone to America? And my ex was, she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, come on, we'll go to America." And I was like, "Oh no, I still want to do Grand Prix." And should have listened.
America's a tough one though, Wobbs, isn't it? Because you got to commit. They want you to do both at that point, didn't they? Like Supercross and
Eastie came over. Eastie just did outdoors. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
he
mean, the
did a
factory teams want you to
national
do
thing.
factory
Supercross.
team. Yeah,
The factory teams, the Supercross is so important.
Yeah,
Like the factory teams, they say it's more important for them to win one Supercross race than an outdoor championship.
Jesus.
They put more weight on a Supercross.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but was the way they would do it. But Eastie came along and bought his bikes, and he went racing, and he had a great time.
just for the adventure as well.
Oh yeah,
But, you know, like,
that's
American-
right off, haven't he?
American tracks would have suited you, I reckon.
Yeah,
But that summer was like Rhino with John
Yeah.
Rower. We're traveling around in between races. We'd just all go from place
With
to
John?
place. Yeah.
John
John Lower and Rhino.
He's messaging him back and forth. We keep in touch on
Yeah,
Instagram.
he's good as
yeah.
well. And so,
like
and there was me and the Smith guy and Fritz with his support truck, and we just used to travel from truck stop to truck stop and just hang out. So I
Awesome.
it was a good summer.
Yeah.
But like Mark was trying hard, and he knew his stuff and he enjoyed it, and he put in some good results.
He put in some good results in the nationals, but also, he did all right with the contingencies, didn't he? Regionally and stuff
He
like
did,
that.
yeah.
Because you
He
could
did.
do,
We got-
obviously earn
I
money
got-
from the
yeah, of
manufacturers
I
over
got him set
there.
with Fred Andrews' dad, who
Yeah.
had the dealership, so he got signed up for all the contingency packages and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And also having somewhere to go
Yeah.
every week, and even plug in and do your laundry, and have somebody take you for lunch or go riding, and
Yeah.
it was just. Otherwise, you just get off the plane. You're like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
You know
That's
what
the
I
thing
mean?
is
Yeah, and you needed somewhere a little bit of a base. And luckily, I'd been around in box van days, so I had this network of people around the country.
where you'd been stopping off.
So you
and-
can go, like we'd go to Atlanta, stop at Hollywood's place, and even if he wasn't there, you knew where the key was. You'd park up, go in, watch TV, order a pizza, and put your laundry in, and that was it. You were at home. If somebody else's house, you weren't even there. But you had this network of people around the country,
Yeah.
But
Safe houses.
basically,
yeah.
basically, because you're on the road, you're sleeping in. I was in the Smith truck, and I'm sleeping in whoever's been partying all weekend, and I'm there all week. Everybody else is going home. I'm not going home.
Yeah.
I'll wake up in the morning going, where should I go today?
I remember some of them. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it only lasts so long before you start thinking. Yeah,
So overall, obviously, you happy? The wrist injury was clearly a defining.
Yeah.
Moment,
the
really.
biggest kind of bugbear, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. You try and pull a positive from a negative, and I could have crashed and broke my back the week after.
Yeah,
or something if
exactly.
so
But
everything's mapped out.
obviously, the limited move thereafter was you had to
Yeah, it
adapt
was-
a bit, and it could never ride as freely as you did
Not as
before.
free as I could, and if I jarred the wrist, and it was just wasn't the best. But at least
I've
I was
gotta
still
say,
able
Joe,
to
you had a good
ride
career,
and-
kid. I think you had a good
Mate,
career.
you came into 250 GPs
With a bang.
Straight up. Like within 2 years, you're finishing in the top 15, and you're a factory rider. And mate, there's not,
And
a
that's
boy,
what-
a boy from the valleys. No, there's not many.
Yeah.
people
was
that can
stacked.
say that.
It was stacked. You got your Poozars and your Bob Moores and there was names,
Yeah, so many.
factory teams, you
Yeah.
know, Tortelli, and I mean,
Yeah.
not these are players,
Good guys,
real
yeah.
good guys.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose.
Brownie first year, 95.
Oh my God, yeah, just to go out there and just like hang with them is doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, it was a good opportunity from Dave.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then just grabbed it with both hands.
What is he doing now?
I don't know.
Property management and maintenance.
Is he?
He can tell you all about it. Grant, if you're watching this, we need.
want you in.
need
You
to-
should get him on.
Well, no, he's committed. He's told me he wants to come on.
We need
so,
you in, Granty. You've got some stories.
So we just need to book that date. Get
We'll
him
have
on.
to be-
Then we'll hear his side of the story
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, definitely.
See if it aligns.
Yeah. Just done.
I want to find out
standing-
what he said to you on that day when you said, "I can't
yeah.
get it."
Yeah.
In his
Couple of
words.
times, yeah. Definitely. Don't stand in front of him though. If he's got a zip down,
No, I know. He's terrible. You don't need to.
and then put your hand in your pocket.
Yeah, terrible for all that.
really.
Honestly, hopefully, I'm saving those stories for when he comes on.
A young 19-year-old with a
So impressed. Yeah, I know.
in his
I know.
pocket.
Honestly, he's lethal. I went out.
But good crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real good crack.
Hopefully, he will tell those stories when he comes on.
You can't tell them all though, can you? 'Cause
No, but
No.
but like I said,
the thing is, stuff gets took out of context and it just sounds weird. But at the time, it was just funny. That's all that matters. It was
that's
just
the
funny.
crack, wasn't it?
And then some
Yeah.
stuff you say now, and you tell people, and they just look at you like you're a fucking weirdo, and you're just like, you have to be there, really.
Yeah.
He's good value, and we're going to get him on. Last time I saw him was he came to my mum's funeral, actually. So the last one I saw him just before Christmas, and again, just had me in hysterics. Great story. So we're going to get him on.
We need to get him on.
Such a character.
Likewise, Jonesy. It's great to have you on.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Genuine, as I said, one of our best riders of the '90s, no doubt. So we appreciate you coming in. So now you're going to go off and train some riders.
Yep. Heading back to Wales now and train some bikes. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Now we've just got to get him 2 new hips
and get him to VMX.
The VMX, which leads nicely onto Wobbs. So we're getting closer.
I never know when these are going out, and I never know what I can say.
Well, you normally just say it anyway, and then we edit it out.
So shall I just go through who we've got, and if we can edit it?
Danny, okay, go on then.
Carson Brown. Am I allowed to say that one?
Look on it.
Chad Reed. All coming. Gautier Paulin.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
it's all happening.
Just cut it out.
We don't know if it's happening or not, but we're working on it.
Let's just make it easy for Danny, a little slice there. So
I'll go through who's definitely coming, who I can definitely say. As of today, who's definitely coming. So we got Chris Porcel, former world champion. If he shows up and feels like riding, Tommy Searle's going to have his hands full because Tommy is riding again. We haven't announced that yet, but this ain't going out next week. Todd Kellett, he's a player. He ain't scared.
No, he's not.
Martin Barr, Ivo Monticelli, Dave from Philippines.
Big names.
Alessio Chiodi.
Yeah. He was.
We haven't announced that yet. Oh, God, I was proper starstruck. And what a lovely geezer.
That's the point, not the
And he's not one of those people I've ever dealt with in my career. And I've dealt with a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of them I haven't. What a lovely bloke.
It wasn't the riding for me. It was the fact that he was just so chilled out and cool, fun to be around.
I was worried. Were you nervous about building a bike for him? Because you think he's ridden the best bikes here.
Yeah.
And like you build a bike. And what was funny was I saw, who was the guy who was the mechanic for
now working for
Rinaldi.
Oh.
Anyway, I saw him.
Mario? I want to say Mario.
No, I saw him at the Nations and he gives
Fabio.
And he's
like,
Alessio really liked that bike. I said, really? He said, yeah. He was ringing me 3 times a day, telling me how much he liked it.
No way.
He said, it's great. Everything's great. And he came up to me on the Saturday when we thought we were going to go out and practice still because it was raining. He said, I'm sorry. I said, what for? He said, I'm going to destroy this beautiful bike. And I'm like, that's what it's for, kid. Get out on there.
That's pretty cool.
He was really cool. Really nice. Really down to earth. And like the way you could see him interacting with the fans and everything, he was nothing was too much trouble.
No.
So he was good as gold. We've got Mike Brown back again. Mike's just a fixture and you can't not have Brownie back, can you?
Another nice guy.
What's he, 52 this year?
53, he's older than me.
He's old, isn't he? But fucking hell, to watch him on the bike, he looks like an 18-year-old kid, doesn't he?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. You can take a picture of Brownie and he has got perfect style. For you to train in, you can't find him not looking perfect.
The thing is with Brownie, I reckon he could probably still get in his race kit from when he was 18.
Oh yeah,
and I can tell you right now, I categorically couldn't.
No,
not his kit, my kit.
You got
not that weird.
But Brownie's coming back to Farleigh Vets as well for us.
That's cool.
So he's coming back with there. So the team from Farleigh Vets is Brownie, Sam Sunderland, and Clement de Sal. So this year, Sean's team's going to actually be legal. Because we didn't realise at the time that Sean was like, Sean was pushing the rules. I'd like you South Wales boys to push the rules a little bit. And then we've got Ryan Sipes. Ryan Sipes is still a player. Ryan Sipes is flying direct from Foxhill to Italy to go and ISDE. So Ryan Sipes bike fit. So he's on it. And then, like I say, hopefully we've got Chad Reed coming for third man. So Chad is at the moment he's not sure if he wants to bring an Australian team or come and ride for the American team. But you're going to have to fucking make your decision here soon, Chadley.
So, I don't know what part of that you've heard or you've seen. Danny might have to edit a lot of that.
Danny's going to have to edit what is actually
So, there might be you might see a little cut in that, or whatever, if you're watching it, where Wobbs has just rattled off a bunch of names that actually shouldn't be announcing yet. But,
No, you got to have a plan, a social media plan, and you're supposed to release them, but we get excited.
Yeah.
Because we're enthusiasts. And when you manage to get a big name, you want to tell the world.
Yeah.
But you have to wait. It's quite hard.
Look on Charlie's face there. I think she's just getting to a point where she just concedes that she can't.
It's like a kid at Christmas. You get a world champion to sign up to come to your race.
Yeah.
You're excited. You want to tell everybody. It's hard.
The short version of all that is get yourself to the VMXdN August 21st, 24th, because there'll be a load of world name motocross.
Oh,
stars
yeah.
on the 90s.
And
That's
it's
the short version, right?
And it's an hell of an event, isn't it? It's nice. It's a 90s Grand Prix feel. It feels like a proper event. It don't feel like an afterthought. You don't feel you're there and you're like, this is it. We're here. And it does feel nice.
Before then, though, we got loads more podcasts to get in, so we're going to try and get loads of done before that time. So keep locking in. Obviously, keep following us on Spotify, Apple. That's where you can
like and
listen
subscribe.
to us while you're driving along,
helps.
whatever you do. You can watch us, of course, on YouTube. Leave comments below. Keep following us on social media. And, get involved.
Thank you.
Once more, thanks to Jonesy for getting up his time.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you again in a few weeks.
See you
Thanks
next time.
a lot.